Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for your great support always. I'm so grateful for your continued support to this channel. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier on, we were told that John Mbadi is an expert. And by him being the CS of Treasury, he was going to listen to the like-minded, of course, people across the board. I've seen a video, John Mbadi coming out to attack NYORO as a man who doesn't understand what he's saying, and by saying that Kenya is likely to default is like a crime. So he decided to attack NYORO badly, Then I'm asking a simple question. Yani NYORO, yani John Mbadi, ameamua the way he was praised as an expert. Anyone who is coming up with any opinion, hataki. In other words, amekuwa, of course, convicted, is a man who is now blind, and whatever he's doing is just to give William Ruto praise and worship, So before the members of parliament, you are coming out to attack NYORO as one of that person who was the chairperson of budget committee. But now, because he's not, let him hold his opinion for forest. Asitoe his opinion. So he lectured NYORO badly. I want you to listen to John Mbadi in front, of course, the members of parliament. But before you watch, as you always do, ensure you like the video. When you like the video, you automatically support the work that I'm doing this channel, because sometimes you watch and you forget liking the video. So this is just a reminder. As you watch, please consider liking the video. Thank you so much for that like.
Let me conclude, Mr. Speaker, because I know there will be further questions, and ask that we have and plead that as leaders, people out there may not like us. They may say all sorts of things, but we are still their leaders. And therefore, I am just appealing that we are all privileged. We need to be sometimes a little bit cautious. I listened to one of us argue that this country is likely to be taken to pari, that we are likely to default in debt payment. That is irresponsible statement. It is irresponsible, it can cause panic, and it should not come from someone who has chaired Budget and Appropriations Committee. Let me tell you, yes, there were times when we had challenges, but where we are, we don't have a problem with debt sustainability. The numbers are there. The figures are there. Even the IMF has the figures. World Bank has figures. We have been rated out there. The problem we have is about liquidity. Loans were taken at a particular point of time. Most of them are maturing between now and 2032. That is why we have the pressure. After 2032, you go and look at our books and they're public. From 2034 to 2048, we don't have any loan to pay. There is no external loan to pay around that time, whether bilateral, whether commercial, multilateral. We don't have much loans. But between now and 2032, we must work together. This House has a responsibility. Treasury has a responsibility. Executive has a responsibility. We must work together to steady our economy. And that is why some of us were taken to the executive as experts to make sure that we steer the ship. So don't discourage. This process will continue. I am committed to it. There is no time we will default in our loan repayment. This country is strong economically. It is the strongest economy in the region. So let nobody scare people that Kenya is going to default. We may be struggling, but let me ask you, have we failed to pay salaries? No. Have we failed to pay capitation to schools? We paid in full. Are we not meeting our expenditures for security and other matters? Yes. Are we going to release the entire CDF for development of our infrastructure in schools and security and pay bursary? Yes. Are we going to pay money to our counties? Yes. And by the way, let me ask, I have been in this house with you, and I used to sit there. That is my corner. I hope you will reserve it for me. I will come back there maybe one time. This is not the first time we have had a delay. In fact, if you look at last financial year, it was worse. The last financial year was worse. And I'm committing to you, you will not have problems. I know there is bursary issues. We have released the 7 billion. I want to try and release another 7 billion before schools open end of this month, so that you sort out the bursary and make sure that the balance we don't carry over to 2025, 2026. That is what I'm working on. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I know I took longer than I should have taken.
The way you have watched CS John Mbadi, I want you to listen to NYORO yesterday, while he was trying to tell Kenyans how or whatever is likely to happen. Because when you look at how William Ruto's administration is trying to handle some financial issues, must give us a lot of worries. And NYORO said this.
Out of our CFS, payments of interest rate of 1 trillion, approximately 750 billion this current financial year. It is now over 800 billion. The one we budgeted was 750. I think it's now hovering around 800 billion by close of the year. But let me use 750. Please get this point. 1 trillion shillings is for payment of interest rate. 750 billion is for domestic debt servicing. So, external debt, we are talking about around 200 billion shillings. There is a point I want to derive there. Now, issues around talking about debt. You know, when I'm talking about debt, I'm talking about changing terms, because I am sure 100% we may end up there as a country. So when you talk about changing terms of debt, you may change externally. Now come now back home. 750 billion is the biggest ticket of payment of interest rate in our country, in our economy. Now, can you start thinking as a Kenyan what that is? Can you imagine a meeting being called by the National Treasury at some point? Like the way we are here, there is a meeting that has been convened. Nimewaita tuongee mambo ya hii deni, sio kama wa Kenya, lakini wale watu wamekopesha serikali pesa. I want you to start seeing that conversation, what it means. The 750 billion Kenya shillings we are paying domestic interest rate is owed to who? Is owed to banks, is owed to insurance companies, is owed to bond holders, even normal Kenyans. Now, changing terms means what? Are you calling us to increase the yield? What is the likely conversation that is likely to be around there? Is about postponing paying you. That's number one. There can only be two things actually. Postponing paying you. That's number one.
But despite of CS Mbadi lecturing NYORO, remember, members of parliament had their stand. Stop telling us what you're telling us. We want money for buses. And the minimum is 21 billion Kenyan shillings. That is what we want. Leave alone the debts. That by 2032 will not be having debts. But again, remember, the government or these governments will continue borrowing. So Mbadi should not come out and lie to us that now by the end of 2032, we are no longer going to have debts. We are going to have, because anyone who will be president will be looking forward to borrow. Even if it is William Ruto will be re-elected, which I don't see, he will still borrow, you know. So the members of parliament told him that we are not going to sit here trying to lecture one of us. What we want is bursaries.
Because the minister should be listening to this. And first, two things. That we've been patient with the minister, with the things he has been saying. One, because he's a ranking member, former ranking member of this house. We would not have been tolerant, perhaps, if you didn't have those decorations with you. Two, I also must declare that the minister is my very good personal friend, and we have many things we dream about together for future. Mr. Speaker, a lot of the things the minister has said is what the minister said in Naivasha. A lot of them. And Honorable Mbadi, we respect you. When you went to the Treasury as an expert with Mbadinomics, we expected you, by the time you are giving commitment to this house, you are sure about the things you are saying. You have put our speaker not in very good light. You are lucky that we also trust our speaker and we love him so much, because you have been using him as a shield. It does not make sense, Honorable Mbadi, my good friend, to say you gave the speaker a plan on how you are going to disburse these monies, then later on you are bringing in the issues of disbursements of capitation. The Mbadi I know, you should have foreseen that. You are an expert. By the time you are giving that commitment, Honorable Mbadi, those are things that would have been on your fingertips. Oh, Mheshimiwa Mbadi, with due respect. And before even I continue, what we are expecting from you today is 21 billion. The bare minimum and take home, as we speak, is 21 billion. Yes. All these other things you are saying, capitation, county money, it is your responsibility as government to send these monies. The year is coming to an end. Mheshimiwa Mbadi, please do that is needful to our people, and don't bring a lot of issues, Honorable Speaker. Lastly, Mheshimiwa Mbadi, a lot of college and university students, most of them missed exams because we did not facilitate their bursaries. They will be forced to defer a whole year. A whole year. So how are you going to restitute that? That these students have been deferred and they continue now to live the way they live. So, Honorable Speaker, our bare minimum, don't talk of 2032, 2048, because loans will still be taken by those governments that are coming, we don't know. Because these are things now that we are tired of. We are speaking about now, and we have a lot of trust in you, Mheshimiwa Mbadi. I particularly know you and particularly know that you can deliver better. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of this House, our bare minimum is 21 billion.
Now, despite of that push and pull in between John Mbadi and members of parliament and NYORO, you can understand that now Mbadi ni kama ameambukizwa uongo ya William Ruto na kufunika vitu. Hataki sasa ukweli. Ukimwambia ukweli, you face his wrath. What do you think? Drop your opinion at the comment section below. Otherwise, thank you so much because of your great support. Please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing this video. Bye bye till you meet in another video.